Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Jordan. So today we're going to be continuing our Monster High and Dungeons & Dragons series. Today we're going to be doing JInafire from Generation 3. If you like our content and want to see more D&D mashups, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications whenever we post a video. Alright, now let's get into JInafire from Monster High. Okay, so for JInafire, let's talk about the class first, because I know a lot of you are going to be wondering, what did you pick for the class? So, for the class, I ended up picking a class and subclass that's called Draconic Sorcerer. So, with that, sorcerers tend to have a natural magical ability. So, with JInafire being a dragon, and that she can control the weather, I felt that the sorcerer class really just fit what she can do in Monster High. And with the sorcerer class, I was able to take spells, which we'll talk about in just a little bit, that are more weather or controlling the element type spells. The race I ended up choosing is called Half Dragon. This is a homebrewed race, and I got this from D&D Wiki. I will link that in the description so that as we're going through this video, if this race seems like something you might want to use, go ahead and do it. So, for half dragons, in the description it basically says that most people from afar will see them as either a human or an elf, but as they get closer, they'll see physical traits that are clearly make them a half dragon. So that could be something like scales running along their face or any part of their body, horns, or a tail. So, with JInafire in Monster High being basically a humanoid dragon, the half dragon class really fits, considering that's her equivalent in Dungeons & Dragons. Now, the only thing that obviously is not 100% accurate like I would want is you have to pick a draconic ancestry. And that basically means what dragon does your character come from. So I ended up picking a white dragon. And now if you look at the draconic ancestry chart, the white dragon obviously says that it's cold. Now I did a lot of research, you guys, and it was really difficult to find any information on some sort of a sea dragon or a dragon that uses water. So I ended up just going with the cold for this character sheet. Now, if anybody happens to know any information on a sea dragon, or maybe you want to see me come up with that for the channel, we can totally redo her sheet. I'm all for it. I'm game. We could do it. Okay, we're going to quickly go over the features and traits on our character sheet. So, your features and traits can come from your class, your race, and your background. So, let's start with the first one. We took something called Twinned Spell and something called Extended Spell. Now, these come from the meta magic, they come from the sorcerer class. Now, I picked Twinned Spell because, from my understanding of the spell, it's basically you're doubling the spell. And then Extended Spell, it makes the duration of your spell last longer depending on how many sorcery points you spend. Then we have something called Relentless Endurance. We get that from our race. Basically what it means is when you get down to 0 hit points, but you're not killed outright, you can basically come back up with 1 hit point instead, and you can't use the feature again until you take a long rest. Then you have Draconic Resistance. Because we picked half dragon, we have a resistance to damage type associated with draconic ancestry, which, as you recall, that would be ice. We also have dark vision. It is literally what it sounds like. You can see up to 60 feet in dark spaces without needing a torch. Then we have something called Keen Senses. This also comes from our race. Basically, it means we have proficiency in the perception skill. Okay, let's talk about spells. I'm going to go over each level of spell and why I personally picked them. If you want to know more about what that specific spell does, I will have the spell descriptions on the screen. Feel free to pause and take a look at them. I'm just going to kind of give a little brief description of them. So, for this character, we picked Shocking Grasp, Gust, Shape Water, and Sorcerer Burst. Now, with these spells, I was trying to pick things that you could control the weather, since JInafire is a Chinese dragon, and she does have the ability to control the weather. So, most of these, just hearing the title, kind of you can figure out what they do. Now, there is a cantrip that I picked from the 2024 New Player's Handbook called Sorcerer Burst. Now, this one, basically, what it states is you can cast Sorcerous Energy at one creature or object within range. So you're making a ranged attack roll against this target. And if it hits, you can pick whether it's, ice, cold, fire, lightning, poison, psychic, or thunder. I picked this because I thought this would honestly just be a really cool cantrip to have. Yeah. What do you think? Are there different cantrips we should have gone with? Let me know. Level 1 spells. We took Thunder Wave, Chromatic Orb, Magic Missile, which is one of my absolute favorites, Fog Cloud, Ice Knife, and Command. Now, with these spells, again, the theme I'm trying to go for is weather manipulation, just to try to represent Gina as best as we can as a D&D character. So with this character, because we did level her up to level 3, which in my opinion is one of the best places to start a D&D campaign, because you just have access to so many abilities and you're not sitting in that I'm stuck at level 1 mindset. So with the spells we picked Levitate, Dragon's Breath, and Alter Self. I picked Levitate because there's an episode where you see JInafire at Monster High, and she does kind of this levitate ability while she casts some rain. So, Levitate, pretty self-explanatory. I thought it was a good choice. Then, we have Dragon's Breath. We have Dragon's Breath because we are a half dragon, meaning we can breathe out an elemental breath and do some damage, which is kind of fun. Then, we have a spell called Altered Self. I chose this because basically you can change your shape and form if needed. So let's say you're using this character in your role playing and you've now entered a town where they don't allow anybody that's not a human, for example. You can use Alter Self to disguise yourself as a human to not raise suspicions. Or if you're like a lot of people I play D&D with, and we maybe made some bad decisions along the way, and now maybe we're wanted, Altered Self also really helps in that situation, let me tell you. Alright everyone, we're basically at the end of this video. I appreciate you all watching, giving your feedback. It's something we really appreciate. So, now, I want to tell you, I'm dropping a video on Christmas Day, and it's going to be an original character that I created for the holiday season. I'm hoping it's something you guys really enjoy and are looking forward to. Thank you again so much, you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!